Hello and welcome back to the channel. You're not the only one with an intro. First off, before we do anything, to make sure I don't forget, Sam, by the time this video's come out, I'll make sure of it, will have uploaded his first videos on his new channel, New Vinyl Discovery, which is going to be a temporary thing for you.
Short run project.
So where basically you've inherited 57 records and you're going to be listening to all of them and determining which are your favourites and which are your least favourites.
Indeed, there will be some clear divide between
Having looked through it, some of it is like, Sam, you're going to love this if you've never heard it, and some of it is, oh my god, Sam, you have no idea what you're in for.
Oh my god.
Everything from Sade to Tchaikovsky to Dire Straits.
Yeah.
So it pretty much runs through everything you could want in music.
Yeah.
And some of the things you don't want. But I'll leave a link in the description for that.
Yeah. Check out Free Vinyl Discovery.
Yes, indeed. And I will be appearing on an episode talking about Once Upon a Time by Simple Minds.
At the time of recording, we'll see how many more I rope him into.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Because sometimes I don't want to have to go into it alone, so I'm going to have to drag someone with me.
Yeah.
And it'll
We
be
could do them over Zoom even.
Indeed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, we went to a record fair today. Our usual record fair, the largest record fair in the UK, some say.
Yeah, we're not flexing.
Well, we are.
We are.
Because we are showing off everything we got from that record fair. I've also got a little bit of housekeeping to do because I've just been to Sound Machine, the record shop me and Sam went to last time. I went on a very quick trip just before going to the cinema. So I was in and out quickly, but I still spent 16 quid somehow.
And I haven't seen what he's bought from the Sound Machine.
I've spent upwards of 70 quid today. But also, I spent nothing on this. Colour of Spring by Talk Talk, which was an album Sam received in his pile, which he already had.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have it. Very grateful to own it. I mean, what a classic album this is.
And I talk about it in the first episode of Free Vinyl Discovery as well.
Oh, fantastic. Is that the pilot or the second?
It is.
Yeah, lovely. So, it's got Happiness is Easy, it's got I Don't Believe in You, Life's What You Make It, Living in Another World, Time It's Time. Talked about it in detail very much on the Talk Talk album ranking.
Mm-hmm.
It was your number one, my number two, so we both hold it in very high regard. I'm very glad to own it. So, shall I do Sound Machine now, and then we'll do the record fair? So, I've got two albums for £3 each, and one album for £10. First one, Elton John, Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, for £3.
Oh,
very cool
£3.
gatefold. I actually saw it for £2 today.
Oh.
But it was in much worse condition.
Yeah,
so,
that's not half bad.
No, it's very good. It's an underrated Elton John album. It kind of gets forgotten. It came out the same year as Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Right.
So it kind of gets forgotten for that reason. But it's not quite as good, but it is still brilliant. It's got Daniel, the opening track, which I think is brilliant. Teacher I Need You, Blues for My Baby and Me. Crocodile Rock is on this, and High Flying Bird. So, Crocodile Rock and Daniel, there's big singles, but a lot of good deep cuts on here as well. Very diverse in styles. That's that.
Nice.
Next up, Supertramp with Crime of the Century for £3. And Sam, at some point during the day, was like, "Oh look, Crime of the Century here for £6." And I thought, I just didn't say anything.
No, you didn't.
I just went completely silent because I got it for £3 at the Sound Machine. So it's just my dad's. I think it's my dad's favourite all-time album. It's either this or New World Record. Dad will know if he's watching. He will be watching. Hi, Dad. And I've always loved this one. It's not quite my favourite Supertramp, but it's right up there. And it actually says to Sam on the back. So my favourites are the bookend tracks, School, and the title song, Crime of the Century. Both absolutely brilliant. But also, Asylum's really cool. Rudy, really like that as well. So there we are. And then finally, for £10, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts
You got
Club
that
Band.
for £10?
£10. See what I mean? I've been telling Sam all day that you wouldn't believe that I got this for £10, and it's in great condition.
Oh my word.
Obviously, last time I went, I got Magical Mystery Tour for 15, and I was like, that is a bargain.
A Beatles album for £10.
Yeah, and
It's unheard of.
not just any Beatles album. It might be their most famous.
Maybe, I would say.
It's and I'm very glad to own it. It was only not my sixth favourite Beatles album, but it's the Beatles, so I still think it's brilliant.
Hands off who's complaining.
That was my Sound Machine. 16 quid for 3 bloody good albums. So, Sam, kick us off with today.
Right, so I've got them in price order this time. I'm a bit more organised. My first one is a little bit of a chance that I'm taking, but at £3, I don't particularly mind. It's Andrew Gold, All This and Heaven Too. I only know one song from it, Never Let Her Slip Away.
I remember you showing it me.
But it's a really nice song. And I saw the price on it, and I did think, what could go wrong? Let's find out. Good fun album. Are we alternating, or should I just...
Yeah, let's
run through
alternate.
mine?
Let's alternate, yeah.
Yeah, go on. So that was £3. That was my cheapest purchase today.
Well, mine was £1. And I've also taken a little bit of risk, but for £1, it's not really a risk,
No,
is it?
exactly.
This is a 1987 single from the great Elton John. So Elton John's second mention is his final mention. I've spent a total of £4 on him. So it is Candle in the Wind, which is a beautiful song, of course, for what's her face?
That's Marilyn
Monroe. Yes. I was going to say, I wanted to say Marilyn Manson. No, it wasn't for Marilyn Manson. It also has Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word, one of his 80s hits. And then also, side 2, you get your song, and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra I've just seen. That's pretty cool. The reason this is a risk is because Candle in the Wind and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me had later versions,
Yes.
which I don't like as much as the originals, but they're still great songs, so, at the end of the day, it's still great. And to be honest, those two songs, Candle in the Wind and Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, probably in my top 10 Elton John songs. So for £1, couldn't go wrong.
And of course, it features the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra.
Exactly.
Which I bring up for the sole reason of a segue, because my next album is from an Australian band. For £4, I purchased Business As Usual by Men at Work, which features two of
Is that
them.
another risk?
It is a risk, because I only know two songs from it, but they are the two most famous ones in Who Could It Be Now and Down Under. The latter being basically an anthem for Australia by this point. But I'm really looking forward to listening to the rest of the album. Men at Work can be a little bit odd, but I'm really excited. I really dive hard on the Australian music scene in the 1980s, so this is just more justification for that, basically. And this was from the same vendor that got Andrew Gold. It had a lot of these bargains. So I thought, actually, once I saw Andrew Gold for £3, I was like, right, stuff it. I'm going to get the Men at Work one as well and just see what happens. There's going to be a lot of music discovery coming up. So
it's interesting. It's usually the other way around for us, isn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
usually me who's doing the risking and...
yeah, me just fun. But because I've got so much now, I'm kind of finding myself having to go out of my comfort zone a bit more. But I'm in the right frame of mind for it now. So
exactly.
I'm excited.
So next for me is my only album that I haven't heard that I bought. No Jacket Required by Phil Collins, which was £2. I literally, at the end of the day, I had £3 left. And I came to the store, it was like £2 for all these albums. And they had Hello, I Must Be Going, which we saw about 50 times.
Yeah.
And then we had this, and the only song I think you've played me side 2 of this album at your house.
Yes.
Because I do know Don't Lose My Number, and I do know Take Me Home. I don't really remember the other 3 songs, but those 2 are really good.
Yeah, because I already have this.
Yeah, and I think I know Susudio as well. That kind of rings a bell.
And One More Night, surely.
Probably, yeah. But
that's a nice slow.
It was worth it for £2 alone just for Take Me Home, because it's one of my favourite, probably my favourite Phil Collins solo song. It was used really well in Mr. Robot. So that was the way I discovered it. So
nice.
£2. He's very sweaty on the album cover.
So, my next one, I've just lifted up, so you kind of know what's coming later. My next one is from 1985. It is a £4, like Men at Work, but it is an album that I have heard in full before. It's Boys and Girls by Brian Ferry. I have spoken about Roxy Music and their 80s work quite highly on the channel before, and this is the only album of Brian Ferry's solo work that I have heard. But
You
wow,
like it a lot,
what a great album it is. It's great fun. I've just noticed there he is on the back. Look. It's a great album. I really do enjoy it. That A-side is great. Slave to Love, Don't Stop the Dance. My dad's cousin, fun fact, directed a music video for that. Then A Wasteland and Windswept, listening to them together, really great experience. The B-side, I don't remember as clearly, but that's simply because the A-side is banging.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get to love the B-side more with more listens.
Exactly. And at £4, it's great.
From
At
HMV.
the back, it's $4.99.
The HMV shop
Only
price.
the HMV shop price. So good job I didn't buy it from there,
Yeah.
then, because I got it from the record fair for £4.
Bit of a preface before I say this. I'm a bit on and off with checking records before I buy them in terms of their condition. Sometimes I just trust it, especially if it's cheap. So I haven't actually checked what the condition of this one's in.
Okay.
It was only a
find
£5, and it is Honky Tonk Heroes by Waylon Jennings, which is a country album. It is very yee-haw, you know. The kind of music that I wouldn't have liked a year ago, but it's 26 minutes long. It's a very short album, and it is filled with some great songs. I love the opening track, Honky Tonk Heroes. Omaha is great. It's just You Ask Me To as well as a lovely love song.
I didn't ask you to get that.
It's a lovely album cover as well. They just look like they're having a great time, So it says very good plus, which usually means it's fine on the front. So Waylon Jennings is cool. It's my first full-on country album in my collection, so it felt like a bit of a gaping hole, and I saw it for a £5 and I thought, I enjoy this album, I'll put it on in the future, so it was an easy buy for me.
Very cool. My next one is returning to the Australian music scene in the 1980s, but it is not an album. It is a compilation, but it is a compilation of a lot of the early work of Icehouse. Great album, great band.
Your niche favourite.
Yeah, I really do like Icehouse, but you're not allowed to listen to them, they're mine. There's some really good songs on it. You'll remember a lot of these from Primitive Man. It might even just be Primitive Man, but in a different order. Like, a lot of these songs I recognise are from that album, like Street Cafe, Hey Little Girl, Glam, and Great Southern Land.
Great Southern Land's a band,
Trojan Blue is on the B-side,
that's a good one.
the B-side. Don't remember these other ones though. So
they're probably from the other albums.
Yeah, from the debut, which was called Icehouse back when the band was called Flowers.
Yes.
So that would be
We'll
interesting.
eventually get to Icehouse as a video.
Yeah, I held him at gunpoint and made him promise to do it. So
I'm happy to.
Yeah, so good fun.
How much was that?
This was £5. No,
Okay.
£4. It was £4 because I got two for £4.
We're still rolling in the bargains.
Yes, indeed. So this is £4. It's the last £4. I actually don't spend that much today. I don't go above 10.
No,
so.
I do.
Okay.
I do in a big way.
Oh, really?
So, my next one is my last £5 one, and then there's a bit of a jump up then. Trick of the Tail by Genesis. I feel like we're always talking about Genesis on this channel whenever we do a vinyl haul.
They just keep coming back.
Cool gatefold. It's actually the back. It's really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it kind of extends out. Again, for £5, it has Ripples, my favourite Genesis song. I would have bought it just for that song, really. But it also has the title track, which is really fun. I really like Dance on a Volcano and Entangled. Just a great, time capsule of the transition into the Phil Collins era, because he's still a little bit sort of timid, but his voice is so beautiful and it works so well. And
I love the attention to detail in these 70s Genesis album covers.
Yeah, the covers are awesome, yeah. They are really cool.
Yeah, each one I've seen you buy has been special.
Yeah. So I've got Nursery Crime Duke, Signing Them by the Pound, and now Trick of the Tail. So £5, it was the first thing I saw. The first thing either of us bought, I think.
Yeah,
I think within 2
I
minutes.
was going through the bin and I saw that and you went, oh, I'll be having that, thank you.
Just took it. And because I know you like the album, but not
but I
as much
wouldn't.
as I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you might buy it because you might be
I'm
planning on
kind of
getting every
slowly but
Genesis
surely
album.
collecting them, so who knows where that's going to go.
So that was £5, and it's the last £5.
And I'm just going into £5 now.
Look at you.
With Sounds of Silence by Simon and
Beautiful
Garfunkel,
album.
including Homeward Bound.
Yeah, we both got lucky there.
Yeah, because I saw you get it one of the times we went to the record fair, and I was really jealous that you managed to get this album with Homeward Bound in it, because Tom gave me the CD of this, but selfishly didn't include Homeward Bound. So
Yeah.
we'll be having words off camera. But then he got the vinyl version of it, and I thought, damn. But now I've got it too, so I've no reason to be jealous.
I mean, even without Homeward Bound, it's a great album.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward to hearing Homeward Bound within the context of the album too. So that's a really great find. And for £5 as well. At this sort of price, you don't really mind what condition it's coming in.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just great fun.
Yeah, I mean, that is the UK version comes with Homeward Bound, I think. That's the discrepancy.
Right.
But when we do the video, we'll be counting it without Homeward Bound, and Homeward Bound will count as on the Parsley Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. But that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
My next one is going to make Sam a little bit jealous, I think.
Okay.
Rattlesnakes by Lloyd Cole and the Commotions,
Yeah.
£8. Is an album I knew. Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken? Which, funny story, band called Camera Obscura, 2000s indie band I really like. They have a song called Lloyd, Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken? And then I found out that the origin of that song was that it was a Lloyd Cole song called Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken? So I heard the song, it was great. We did a listening session where we exchanged songs.
Yeah.
I played you that and you thought it was great. Then I listened to the album and I thought it was great. And then you listened to the album and thought it was great. So I saw it, Sam was right behind me, and I was very honest in the fact that I was going to pick it up and get it. But
yeah, I saw it in another stall for £12.
yeah.
And I did look through that bin and I missed it.
But £8 is a good price for it, I think. One day you'll get it, but it's a lovely album. Really
It
good,
is.
really good vibes. I love 2CV and Charlotte Street, Forest Fire. Obviously, Are You Ready to Be Heartbroken is great as well. So, yeah.
Here's one you're not going to be jealous of, Tom. Spandau Ballet, Through the Barricades. Well, which is one that
Is that a comp?
No, it's an album.
Oh.
But my mum had it on CD and she used to play it in the car all the time. She had a massive crush on Tony Hadley. So this probably isn't their best album. I don't know. The only album I know is this one, but the amount of sentiment that I carry with it is just enough for justifying ownership of it. Main track on it, though, is Through the Barricades, the title track, the closer. Beautiful song. Amazing song. I also really like Cross the Line, but it's like two ends of the spectrum, especially since the opener of the album is an instrumental, a brief instrumental taken from Through the Barricades. It's very slow and it fades out. And then this heavy guitar comes in for Cross the Line, and you're like, wow, that's really jarring.
Yeah.
But in a fun way, kind of like listening to somebody and then following it with Master and Servant.
Yeah.
It's great fun.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like life, yeah.
Through the Barricades, £5. I'm happy.
Well, this is my last £8, and then we're really getting into big prices. So
Okay.
this is Bob Dylan with Desire, 1976. So quite a way, as of recording, quite a way away from it in the Bob Dylan deep dive. I'm still in the mid-60s. But this was a real comeback era for Bob. Just after Blood on the Tracks, there's backing vocals from Emmylou Harris. Has the song Hurricane, which is one of his most famous songs. One More Cup of Coffee is beautiful as well. Really sort of warm, inviting sound that you don't usually get from Bob. It's a bit more musically, I don't know what the word is, like inviting and warm and cozy than his normal stuff. So for that reason, it has a lot of good points for me. Maybe will be in my top 5 Dylan albums. I don't know. We'll find out. Definitely will be in the top 10. And I have a lot of attachment to it. And it's the first Bob Dylan album I've bought in a while because I got my favourite Bob Dylan albums a long time ago. So it's nice to add another one to the collection. So
Very cool.
£8 and we're going up a bit after that.
Right.
It's been a
Still,
long video, sorry.
Yeah.
We're talking more in depth than we usually do.
we are. So, my next one is for £6.
Yeah.
It's an
got
album
some
I
cheap-
have already discussed on the channel. It's Get Close by the Pretenders. This will be the last Pretenders album I buy. I have now got the trifecta of albums that I consider good. I own Pretenders, Learning to Crawl, and Get Close.
some
Funnily
bangers
enough,
on that.
I was chatting to the guy that was selling this. I've met him every time I've been to the record fair. Solid bloke. Don't even know his name, so I can't give him a shout out. But if you found me on YouTube, you know who you are. He was talking to me and we were talking about Pretenders, and I was like, yeah, I've listened to all the albums. And he was like, oh, yeah, and he asked which ones I had, and I said, and he said, oh, you know, Pretenders 2 is in there as well. And I was like, come on, man, I like that. It's like,
It's fine.
But this is, for me, it's really good. I love My Baby, and
Well, that's
don't get
good.
me wrong. What was the other one I really liked? Him to Her. Those were the three real
Those are the
standout
best
tracks.
songs, yeah.
And you know what? That means that the two of those tracks I mentioned, they're on the A side. That A side's really good going, I suppose. And so the opening track is My Baby, so if I ever just feel like that, I just slap it on, and then once it's done,
Don't get me
slap
wrong,
it
was
off
my number
again.
one Pretenders song.
It was.
Yeah.
So it's worth it,
Yeah.
for me, at least. I really like it. It's also £6, so hands up who's complaining.
Not me.
Put your hand up then, Tom.
I was not up. This is up. This is sort of to my side.
He's lucky he's on his channel.
Now, I've got 3 albums left. One
I'm going to group the singles together,
Yeah.
so we'll both have 3 together.
One is a bit of a rare one that I had to get because of, talk to you about this, practical reasons. And the other 2 are holy grails, like I've wanted them for so long. First of those is coming up now for £12. Paul and Linda McCartney with Ram. That's a fun album cover. It's such a silly little album. It's very, very Paul McCartney. It's just so playful and melodic, and it's a very, very old cover. It's a first pressing. I mean, it's just hard to imagine somebody not loving this album. It's so warm and fun, and again, cozy is the word. Too Many People, it's awesome. I love Dear Boy. Uncle Albert / Admiral Halsey is pretty good. Heart of the Country, really great acoustic track. Backseat of My Car is great too. There's a lot of Beach Boys influence on this, especially with the backing vocals, which is impressive because all the vocals are Paul and Linda, and they don't have 5 guys like the Beach Boys do singing. So yeah, it is a beautiful album.
First press as well.
Yeah, it's in very good condition. It is probably my favourite solo Beatles album. It's either this or All Things Must Pass by George Harrison. But it's right up there with it, and it is going to be in contention for 1971. That video might be out already, it might not be. But I love this album, and I can't wait to play it because it's just a feel-good album. It just puts a smile on your face. So, yeah.
Really
Ram
nice.
is my third from last. £12, so that's more than you spent on any album.
Yes, very true.
But I've never seen it before for that price, so I just had to get it.
So next, I've gone against type, and I've decided to buy a couple singles. I got 2 for £15, so about £7.50, but apparently the going rate for each of these is £10 online. How much of it I believe and how much of it was really just patter, who's to say? But I've got them anyway.
They're cool ones to get, yeah.
First one I've got is Susie and the Banshees, Passenger. Cover of Iggy Pop, but for me, this is the version. I really enjoy it. I know, bold claim, but I
don't hate it.
I like Susie and the Banshees, and it was a good one just to have. I'm not going to really listen to much of their albums, so having a single that I really like
Maybe
works
one day.
for me in this. Indeed,
Maybe
maybe
one
one day. But having a single works for me in this case. The second one,
Yeah, I'm a bit jealous of this one.
is The Smiths, That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, which comes from Meter's Murder.
Yeah.
Really good song. I'm really pleased to grab it also on a single version, simply because I don't know what the rest of the album's going to be like, and I am a little bit reluctant to go in and buy albums where I'm totally blind.
Yeah.
I have done a little bit.
But very cheap.
Very cheap,
And
exactly.
the Smiths albums are hard to get.
Exactly, so...
Because everybody wants them and they didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
So there's a bad combination.
So part of me does believe the guy when he says you get these for 10,
yeah.
so I think he's done me a pretty good deal. So I was quite pleased to get hold of them. Something a little bit different. I haven't normally gone for the 7 inches, so quite pleased to have a couple just to see what they're like.
Oh boy, this next one I'm so excited to have. These the last one and the next 2, I'm glad that these are the ones I paid the steep prices for, because for £15, which is usually my limit for second hand, which I've broken today, Tupelo Honey by Van Morrison, probably my third favourite Van Morrison album. It's the third Van Morrison album of my own. It has some of his all-time best songs. You can't argue with that. Wild Night is an absolutely rollicking opening track, really fun. Starting a New Life is this beautiful acoustic track, and then obviously the title track, Tupelo Honey, which is the one that most people know. One of his all-time best vocal performances. The lyrics are incredible. It's just, a trend. Very summery, very pastoral, warm, lovely album. And yeah, it's just, look at the back cover. It's so cute. Just him with a horse and a woman. It's pretty cool. Front cover's cool as well.
And there they are in the front.
Yeah, so Very happy to own this. I never thought I did because, fun fact, it's not on any streaming in this country anyway. You can't get it on Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music. If you want to listen to it, it's YouTube or bust. And I would much rather listen to
And
it
this
on
is
vinyl.
bust.
Yeah, this is bust.
You're
15
busting
quid.
your money.
15 quid. And I love this album. And I don't listen to it enough because of the accessibility issue. So now I can just play it whenever I want. And I'm so happy about that.
That's so awesome.
So, I love Van Morrison.
You do.
I do.
Genesis is back.
I'm jealous of this one. Yeah.
Trespass.
Great album. Trespass.
Trespass, if you're Northern. This was a really pleasant surprise when we did the deep dive. I was not expecting.
Was it your favourite? No, you
Any-
liked The Lamb Lies Down a bit more, didn't you?
Yeah,
Of the
but this
Pete
is
Gabriel.
pretty
Yeah.
good. I think the reason why this was lower is because it's not quite as developed. It's
Yeah,
early on in
yeah,
their
yeah.
career. But you know what? I was so pleasantly surprised
the
listening
Gatefold
to
as
this.
well?
It is.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
You see what I mean? About the Genesis early albums really having a lot of attention to detail.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's really cool. I'm really happy to own it as well. It's £8. Genesis albums like this, they tend to go for a little bit more. And the cover is actually in perfect nick. So I'm really...
It does look great, yeah.
And an underrated gem, I think.
It is another, again, to use the words, warm, soft, pastoral.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, really pleased to own it.
So-
What's the one I really liked from it? I think
White
it was White
Mountain,
Mountain. Love it.
That A-side is great.
It
The first
is.
3 songs, yeah.
Love it. Love that album. Really
So-
pleased to own it. The fifth one I bought.
Ram was a bit of a grail for me, as I mentioned. This one, even more so. This is a 10 out of 10 album for me. It is my second favourite album from the great Neil Young, who is my current musical obsession and has been for this entire year so far. His 1979, technically a live album, Rust Never Sleeps. Now, why I say technically is because all these songs appeared for the first time on this live album and they were performed live to be released as an album, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah.
This has some of his best lyrics ever. The first side is all acoustic, second side is all electric with the full band and the rock songs. You got My Hey Hey Out of the Blue, which has the famous line, "Is it better to burn out or to fade away?" Also, Kurt Cobain quoted it in his suicide note, so cheery. Then the second song, Thrasher, is this incredible, just so dark song. Neil sort of detailing his career and his lost friendships and stuff in detail. And then you get Ride My Llama, which is this really goofy song about a guy from Mars stealing all his guitars. So yeah, and then you get Pocahontas, which is a really cool song. Name checks Marlon Brando. The lyrics of this album are so cool, so out there. But yeah, the A side is like 11 out of 10. B side is not quite as good, but still really brilliant. You get Powderfinger, and then you get another version of My Hey Hey, but with the full band with the electric guitars, and it's cool that it's bookended with 2 versions of that song. So, love this album. Always have since I first listened to it, and always will. It's only behind After the Gold Rush for Neil Young for me. So, yeah. Now that's my £18 that was. So I really
Right.
broke my rule for that.
Very cool. My last
This is
haul
an
of
album
the
I
day.
own.
Yep, this is an album that every time I go to the record fair, I see, and I'm so tempted to buy it, but I'm like, no, I'm not this time. But today, I finally took the plunge, because this is the cheapest I've seen it.
It's a good price.
And so for £10, you'll have seen it with me picking up my vinyl. If you recognise the back cover,
You've recognised that man's arse.
yeah.
Yes.
Bruce Springsteen,
Yeah.
Born in the USA. What a great album this is. Really love that A-side. That is so fire. I don't remember the B-side as much, with one exception being Dancing in the Dark, which is phenomenal. So I am
We should
really...
listen to the B-side in a bit.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Such a fantastic album.
Yeah.
Really pleased to...
It's a feel
Finally have
good
committed.
album.
Yeah.
But then the lyrics on some of the songs are very dark.
Yeah, like Born in the USA.
Yeah.
This is very much a commentary of American culture, despite the fact it's actually become one of the staples of the 4th of July. It's like, yeah, we're proud to be American, we're born in the USA, kind of feeding into what Springsteen was saying. And
You're
I
right
do
about
love-
that A-side though. I love Cover Me. That's a real underrated
Yeah,
gem.
yeah, and I'm on fire.
Yeah.
Great.
He is on fire.
He is. It's a fantastic album. Also on cassette, apparently.
£10 as your biggest splash. You've made me look like a I'm splashing my money away. But to be fair, I did come into it with more money than you to spend on the day.
Exactly. So. I came with a little bit less.
And basically my tactic was get the big albums that I really needed. Didn't need, but really wanted.
No, you needed them.
I needed them for my own sake. So thank you very much for watching. Let us know what your favourite album in the haul was.
Who won?
Who won? Yeah, I did, obviously. But yeah, we're going to be listening to a bit of music now, I think.
Yeah.
And enjoying our day. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and hopefully we'll catch you soon for another video on William Schmidt.